Crystal, and welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Sims 4 Bustin' Out, where I take builds from the Sims Bustin' Out and I try to recreate them and update them here for the Sims 4. I do want to start off this video though by apologizing for my extended absence without any real warning. Life just kind of got in the way of things, and making videos while raising two kids proved to be a lot more difficult than I originally had thought it would be. I am trying to make a comeback though, so I hope you will continue to stick with me as I work through this time and keep trying to bring you videos about the Sims franchise. Please feel free to also leave suggestions in my comments about what kind of videos you might want to see in the future, or if you want me to continue this series. I am having a lot of fun with it and I do want to continue it, but I also want to kind of cater to what you guys want to see. If you want to see let's plays or just other speed builds, please just let me know. Regardless though, please make sure that if you do enjoy my content to like this video and to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Okay, now with that all out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the build that I'm working on here in this video. Once again, it is for the Sims Bustin' Out, so I decided in this video that this was going to be Club Rubb. I did start playing through the Sims Bustin' Out probably about this time last year too, to try to give myself an idea of how the game worked and where you went from different locations. But once again, that was about a year ago, and my PlayStation 2 actually is not in the best condition. I do need to get some new cords for it and new controllers, so I couldn't really get too far into the game. But I do remember actually getting to Club Rubb. I got there after I had finished doing the career in Studio 8, which was the previous video I managed to put on this channel before I went dark. So I didn't get to play through Club Rubb at all, but that's where I did leave off, so maybe I will try to pick up the game again once I get my PlayStation up and running, but I'll still be continuing the Sims Bustin' Out series in the meantime, chatting about what I can remember just based off of my memory. So what you can see so far is me going through, and after I had built the walls and figured out the roofing, I'm actually trying to figure out how to lay this place out. I do remember from when I did play last year of The Sims Bustin' Out that there was a bar, a dance floor, and a back area that was more meant for like bedrooms, bathrooms, things like that, since you were also living in these venues while you were playing through the Sims Busting Out storyline. But I obviously didn't want to necessarily put bedrooms and things like that in these venues for The Sims 4, so I went ahead and converted them into something else. In this case, that back area that was bedrooms in The Sims Busting Out is now another more like bar area, but more like a loungy, relax area versus an actual club dance floor. This did take me a little bit to figure out, but it was probably actually one of the easiest builds that I did do for a while, just because it made more sense in my head, if you will. I also went ahead and made this bathroom area more like individual stalls versus actually using the stalls from the game, because like my past videos with these, I wanted to go ahead and use base game and only one other pack to go ahead and try to make sure that I'm making these as limited as possible so more people can play with these. So in this build, I only used Get Together and the base game. I believe I also used Get to Work just for one piece in this, but it's not anything that's going to make it not functional or not able for your Sims to go ahead and go to this club. I did playtest this as well, and everything was functioning on it. So it is a fully functional club in the game. I don't remember the lot size that this was on, but I did have, once again, a lot of fun with this, and it did take a little bit of time for me to go ahead and figure out. So I did want to try and go ahead and decorate this as nicely as possible. I didn't necessarily pick any type of particular theme, if I'm being honest. I just wanted to go something that felt, well, to me, clubby, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea to do, considering I have never gone out to a club. I did try, though, to keep this more of a, like, black and white, like, purplies and blue themes. It seemed more fitting to me. I did want to go ahead and add an area back here, too, but I wasn't quite entirely sure what I wanted to do with that backyard area, so I kind of left it blank for now. I did add this little lounge area, like a, I guess the best way to describe it is just a bar without all the noise. It's a little bit more peaceful for people to come sit down, eat, talk, get a drink, whatever they might need to kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of the dance floor. It took me a minute to kind of figure this out. I guess it kind of turned out more like an old pub, but to kind of decorate the place up, I went around and added wall decorations, windows, something for this front area. I wanted to add like a coat rack for people to hang their coats, but I couldn't find anything that made sense. So I went back to the hub area, if you will. Wanted to add a like order board so someone can come and order their food, their drink, whatever they want. But I didn't want to leave that completely like empty as well, so I added that little fountain there just to kind of add decoration. It was a little difficult for me to figure out what I wanted to do back there. Finally, you can see me kind of adding in carpets and whatnot to kind of fill the space, like give something for the room. I was going to add a nice decoration on the inside like that light again, but I thought that was a bit overkill. So I went ahead and I think I ultimately got rid of that to put windows and whatnot in its place too. I just really wanted to add lights, things that made sense for the back area. I was hoping to put like a decoration up front for like a jazz sign or like a clubby sign, but nothing even made sense for that, so I kind of ultimately dropped that and used this sign. I was going to put it on top at first, but didn't like how it looked. It just didn't seem right to me. So I decided to ultimately put it against the building here and find windows that made sense to me. These windows, I really liked how they looked, but I couldn't find a way to make that sign fit as well. I also went ahead and just added windows around, that way I could just get those out of the way before I kind of forget about it. Ultimately though, I did really enjoy trying to figure out how to lay this out, because all this stuff, like there's a lot of wall room, but not necessarily a lot of ideas on what to put on the walls. So adding different things to try to make it make sense was a little bit difficult, especially only going between base game and get together. I did also add in plants, because what's the best place to do when you don't know what to add to a corner? Put a plant there. It's always been my thought process. I did want to still decorate the front area though, so that's why I went with the paintings there. Here in the front, I was trying very hard to find something that felt like it belonged, and then I came across this piece, and to me, maybe it doesn't necessarily make sense. To me it does though. I did really enjoy how it looked, so I went ahead and added it in there. Finally, I decided to go ahead and it's time to get this place painted up, put some, roof tile or shingles on the build. I want to go ahead and make it, I guess, a dark theme, if you will, considering most people, to what I know, go clubbing at night or during, not necessarily during the day. Doesn't make sense to me. Back to this back bar area, like I said, I wanted to make it feel more comforting, like more of a, I don't want to say a lounge, but like an actual typical bar versus like a club bar. I just wanted to give that place where you could get away from all the dancing and noise. Once I went ahead and finished that, I just kind of started adding the little fine details here, like colors, wall decorations, things to go ahead and kind of tie it all together and pull it together. I did want to put something in the bathroom, but I couldn't really find anything that really suited my needs. So I went ahead and just added some lot traits instead, and started really kind of debating, where do I want to go from here? Because I had everything that the lot necessarily required at this point. At that point, I decided it was a good time to start the landscaping, which I still am kind of learning how to go ahead and wrap my head around. I'm not necessarily the best at that quite yet, but I do think I did a rather good job on the landscaping of this build here. Still trying to figure out, though, some things that I've gotten even better since whenever I filmed this, so I think I have a more solid feel on how that should go from now on. I do want to go ahead and try and record another build that I'm working on here for you guys. I wasn't recording it to begin with, but it's not going to be hard for me to necessarily go back and start that over, because I think the only thing I had done with it were the walls and the landscaping, but I mean, that's neither here nor there at this point. I did also want to kind of fill up the lot on this too, considering whenever I looked at it, it was hard for me to find a lot that would fit this. So I decided I was going to add a parking lot and a back area for this as well. I believe I already added the back patio at this point in the video, but I don't honestly remember, if I'm being honest with you. So I do go ahead and add a back patio on this too for people to go outside to like eat or drink or, just get some fresh air from the scene. But it's been It's been an interesting build. Like I said, I apologize again. Since I was gone for that year, I don't remember much about these builds. I took too much time off, if I'm being honest, but I plan to rectify that and make that better here. I believe the next build I will be posting for the Sims 4 Busting Out will be I forget what it's called. I believe, though, it has to do with, it was like the Love Shack area, if you will, that had like the heart bed and everything in it, so I'll go ahead and see which one I was working on here. So this is the only place where I used Get to Work. I wanted to add something that actually looked like parking spaces to the parking lot. So like I said, not necessarily essential to the build itself, just a little nice kind of decorative detail. So here, yeah, I see I did not actually finish the back patio, so I just added a little back area where your Sims can go and sit outside. There's also a grill that I put back here too, so people can come back here and grill. I do once again add a little bit more landscaping. This was kind of difficult for me just because I didn't know what I wanted to put into the area for sure. I do know, like, just trying to fill out that back wall, which I found that nice planter made it a little easier. And then just trying to fill up bushes and some low-lying plants, things that made sense to me. I did have trouble with that long little strip there for a second because I didn't know at all what I wanted to put in there. I think I ultimately decided on just some ground lights, like the little stakes that you put in the ground, and some taller trees. That way I could go ahead and light the walkway without necessarily taking up all this room. It does take me a minute to kind of figure out what I want to do, though, and I do apologize for that. I need to find a way to better edit these parts where I have nothing but me trying to figure out what I want to landscape here. I do ultimately... No, I didn't. I thought I did all place some of those hanging like flowers there just to make it look a little overgrown, if you will, but I guess I didn't. So once again, this back like yard area, I don't want to say yard, but this back area of the venue is very much bare, if you will. Like, it's, I want to fill up the lot more. I want to make it actually seem kind of worth it. I did try to add some terrain paint here and there to add just a little texture to the lot, make it seem not that solid green. Ultimately in this back area, I do decide to actually add a little like fishing pond so your Sims can go fishing. Weird thing to do at the club, but you know, just something to kind of fill up the area. It's also a nice little just kind of view area. I do landscape this back corner too, that way it's not just all bare in the back here. Another thing I ended up doing in this back area is I ended up building a gazebo, which you will see here in a little bit as well. I don't know what I was thinking with this, if I'm being honest with you. It is a nice little gazebo, and it does have a dance floor in it with some lights and speakers too, so your Sims can technically go back there and dance back there instead if maybe the club's too, like, if you're doing a story, the club's too loud and they just wanted a little private area they could go dance in. I don't know, just things here and there that I added in just to, like I said, once again, fill up that lot, because it was unbearably empty for me. I wanted more, but I just didn't know exactly what I needed to put in. And working with only base game and one other pack can be a bit difficult, I've learned. I have gotten better about it, especially with all the stuff they've been adding, especially with the recent update even, I should say, because that helped a lot too. I do go ahead and add some decorations, and I'm not even sure what I put in the bottom there, if that's a fountain or what. I haven't been in this file for a while, so I'll have to go and take a look at that too. But I did add that little fishing sign. It should hopefully allow your Sims to fish. I do remember being able to fish there whenever I tested it, but it could be hit or miss. Now you're going to see me go ahead and jump to the back of the lot and start building that gazebo area. I did put that down the roof first, so I knew exactly what size I wanted it to be, and then I just replaced the walls with the fence pieces instead and removed the fence that I wanted to be the entrance. It took me a minute to figure out what kind of fence I wanted for this too, so after I get all the poles placed, I ended up kind of messing around with the fence for a minute here, trying to figure out what color suits best. I didn't really find anything for a minute, but once I did, like I said, it took me a minute, but once I did find one, I went ahead and replaced it, because I didn't want those middle columns on like the longer pieces of fence whenever there was not actually a column there. So So I went ahead and did that and added the flooring, and this is where I kind of messed around with a bit, trying to get the speakers and a dance floor lined up in here, because I wanted the speakers to look like they were on the poles. I think I only picked 2. Yeah, I only picked 2 of them. So I wanted to line them up, make them look pretty symmetrical, or as, symmetrical as I could make it. Took me a second, but I did eventually get it. And then I added the same lights that you have inside. I do hope you guys really enjoyed this build, and I'm happy to be back. Please enjoy a small tour of the build once again from the inside. And if you want this, it is available on the gallery. My name on the gallery is just Moomalo Plays. Thanks, guys!